I was only 20 years old when I started losing my hair. Looking back, that's incredibly young. At that age, you're still figuring out who you are. You're building your confidence, your identity, and your future. Then something as important as your hair starts to disappear. Some people say it's just hair. But when you are going through it, it doesn't feel like just hair. Hi, I'm Al, and this is the story of how Follicly began. To me, my hair was part of who I was. Losing it felt like I was losing part of myself. I became insecure. I avoided certain hairstyles. I checked my hairline almost every day. And most of the time I hid behind a baseball cap because it made me feel safer. I remember constantly wondering what people were thinking when they looked at me. That experience changed me. Instead of accepting it, I became obsessed with understanding it. I spent countless nights reading scientific papers, watching YouTube videos, browsing forums, and trying to learn everything I possibly could about hair loss. Eventually, after months of research, I decided to try Finasteride. For me, it worked really well. For the next 4 years, my hair stabilized, and I finally felt like I had my confidence back. I honestly thought the problem was behind me, but then everything changed again. After about 4 years, I started noticing that I was losing ground again. I noticed more shedding. My hair began getting thinner again. I felt like I was back at the beginning. I can't describe how discouraging that was. After believing I had solved the problem, I suddenly found myself searching for answers all over again. I went back to researching more articles, more studies, more videos, and more late nights. That's when I discovered something that completely changed my journey, combining Minoxidil with Microneedling. I decided to give it a try, and honestly, I couldn't believe the results. Within just 3 months, I could already see new hair growth. My hair became thicker, fuller, and healthier than it had ever been in years. For the first time in a long time, I genuinely felt hopeful again. That experience made me realize something. I had spent years learning through trial and error, making mistakes, reading research, and testing different approaches. If all of that knowledge helped me, maybe it could help someone else too. So I uploaded a video to YouTube, then another, and another. I simply shared my story, what I was learning, what worked for me, what didn't, and everything I wished someone had told me when I was 20 years old. I never expected anything to come from it, but slowly people started watching. Then thousands, then hundreds of thousands, eventually millions. But what meant the most to me wasn't the number of views. It was the people. People sharing their stories, their struggles, their progress, and asking me the same questions over and over again. What's your routine? What products do you use? What do you recommend? At first, I recommended the best products I could find from different companies, but over time that became frustrating. I felt a strong responsibility to recommend products I genuinely believed in, yet I kept running into compromises. There wasn't one brand I could confidently recommend from start to finish. There wasn't one brand I wished had existed when I first started losing my hair. That's when something clicked. Maybe I didn't need to keep searching for that brand. Maybe I needed to build it. That's how Follicly was born. Not because I wanted to start another company, but because I wanted to build the hair care brand I spent years searching for. A brand built by someone who had actually lived through hair loss. A brand that never settles for good enough. I often say that I became obsessed with understanding hair loss. The truth is, that obsession never really went away. Today, I'm just obsessed with building better products. Most people only see the finished product. They don't see the dozens of prototypes, the failed designs, the months spent changing tiny details, the endless testing. But that's exactly where the difference is made. Take our Dermastamp, for example. At first glance, it looks like a simple product, but it was probably one of the hardest products we've ever developed. We went through countless prototypes. We tested different materials, redesigned the internal mechanism, and even spent months perfecting something as simple as the adjustment dial. I wanted every needle to be as accurate and consistent as possible. Most people will never notice that, but I do, because those are the details that separate a product that's simply good enough from one that I am genuinely proud to recommend. That's the standard we try to apply to everything we make. Not because it's the easiest way to build a company, but because it's the only way I know how. And we're still just getting started. Every product begins with the same question. After everything I've learned over the past years, would I personally use this? If the answer isn't yes, we go back and improve it. My goal has always been simple: to build the hair care brand that I wish had existed when I was 20 years old. The brand I would have trusted with my own journey. Because I know what it is like to lose your confidence. I know what it is like to avoid mirrors, to hide under a cap. Hair loss isn't just about hair. It's about how you feel every single day. If you are going through hair loss right now, I want you to know something. I've been there. I know how it feels. And I can promise that everything we do at Follicly comes from someone who truly understands what you are going through. Thank you for being here, thanks for trusting us, and thank you for being part of the Follicly journey.